This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, all, and welcome to the Elite Tester Sunday Meetup. And I'm your host Nagesh Deshpande. I hope you're already part of the Telegram group that we have, and you're following the YouTube channel also. So welcome, and let's start the discussion. Today's discussion, where we are going to start with the interview questions and answers. Let me turn on my camera so you guys can see me. So can you guys see me?
Yes, Nagesh.
Good, good.
Yes.
So let's start then. Anyone want to go with the first question? Who is actively giving interview right now? Attending interviews?
I'm giving.
Oh, who is this? Shrey. Yeah, Shrey.
Shrey.
So Shrey, yeah, Shrey. Welcome, Shrey. So have you come across any different questions? Any questions that you may not be able to answer, or anything, or your experience? You can share the experience. What kind of questions being asked in the interviews?
Nowadays, what I'm facing, like everyone wants a person who's into automation along with performance. Okay, so
Hmm.
earlier till last year, I was seeing a trend that if a person is looking for a Selenium guy, he is stick with the Selenium only. But now,
Okay.
he's looking for performance plus, I mean, functional plus automation, non-functional guy.
Okay, Shrey. And what kind of questions do you get on performance testing then?
Depends on the scenario. As I mean, recently I come across with one question that how you will manage the file, how you will manage the files which are used while pushing the data for performance. So since I was not aware of that concept, but little bit
Hmm.
is I have read somewhere that FTP concept was there. So I have explained that there is a concept of FTP. As per
Okay.
my knowledge at that time, I have given the answer.
Okay. So can you
And
explain what is FTP to the good of the group, or anyone knows on the
no,
call
I
what is
don't have
FTP?
that idea a lot.
Mhm.
So I'm
Okay.
not the right person to explain that thing.
No, no, just see. This is knowledge sharing session. So whatever
Yeah,
you
I know.
know, we are going to share. Okay.
I have
So
worked
I
on
use.
FTP in terms of what I say, this AWS server, but that is bit different. So it's a file
Hmm.
transfer protocol kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. So, but again, I'm not the right person to explain that thing, I think. So, what I am, as per my understanding.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Good. I just uh, close my video. So guys, can you hear me now? Right?
Yeah. I think I should mute myself as well. Let
No
it
worries.
speak.
Yeah. Other speaker. Okay.
Yeah.
Anand. I think Anand Babu Obla. You joined for the first time, Anand, right? Unmute yourself, Anand. Feel free, guys. This is open forum. That is you absolutely have all the rights to talk here. Hmm?
Hello, sir.
Yes. Who is
Yeah,
this?
sir. My side, Madi Raj.
Yes. Right. Maddie.
Sir, I had 3 years experience in more than 4 years approx in the performance testing,
Okay.
and
Good.
I already started giving the interview.
Good.
But what they are asking nowadays, they are
Hmm.
asking in the terms of that they want 6, 7 years. Means if I done performance testing for the
Hmm.
complete 3 to 4 years, but they are
Hmm.
asking in the terms of performance analysis. And I
Oh.
think so the performance analysis is if the person has more than 7 years experience, then only they know.
Okay. So, Maddie, thank you for bringing this point on this forum. My question is on that. When you apply for these jobs, did they mention this thing in the JD?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay, so they do mention this thing in the JD that you have to have a performance analyst experience and all that, right?
Sir, they mention only performance
Hmm.
testing in terms of JMeter or load runner. That's
Okay,
it.
in the JD, but in the interview they ask all these questions, right?
Correct, sir.
Okay, so you have all the rights to ask the question to the interviewer saying that this was not mentioned in the JD. Based on that, I have applied. I don't have any experience. You can say that. You have no harm saying that. I don't have any experience in performance analyst as of now. Being given the opportunity, or what kind of performance analysis that you guys are right now doing. Okay, and based on that, if I get the opportunity, I should be able to work on that role. But you should always ask for the JD. If the JD, if they haven't mentioned anything in the JD, and if they're asking the question, they are not at the right place, because you are sending your CV based on the JD that you have, right? So we have Brijesh on the call, so he will also help us to getting more clarity on how to go for interviews. And we already done one session with Brijesh. So welcome, Brijesh.
Hey guys,
Hello.
So yeah, I'll turn on my camera. Brijesh, if you want, if you wish, you can also turn on the camera. And Brijesh, just for the your information, the session is being recorded. Okay, so
yeah,
yeah.
I saw that.
Yes. So good. So anyone? So Maddie, you have further questions on that?
Yeah, sir. See, the thing is
Hmm.
that if I am giving all the answer also, last
Hmm.
time, as usual, from the first 1 year experience until 5 years experience, they are asking the last question. Okay, you have any question you want to ask something, so what should I answer for them? Because I was confident that I given all the correct answer.
Okay. So thing is, again, what we just discussed. Based on that, you need to analyze what being discussed so far in the interview. Okay, and based on that analysis, you should ask, including questions, leading questions, where the interviewer will reveal more information. Last time when Brijesh was on our call, he actually mentioned it very correctly. It should be a interaction, not interrogation. Interviewer not should not throw questions only at you. It should be interaction. The person should ask the question, and you also should answer same way you can ask the questions. And so when they will say that, do you have any questions, so you should ask these questions to them, like, what I just gave you few of the questions. I don't have much experience in performance testing, but like this, that what kind of performance analysis that you are guys doing, or what kind of tool that you are using, what are the current biggest challenges in your organization you are facing, that's why you are looking for performance analysis. All these kind of questions will help you.
At the same time, I have not only the performance testing, at the same time, I completed manual testing also and 4 year
Hmm.
experience same. So, in the
Hmm.
terms of manual tester, what should I ask? Do you have any question for me?
No, I didn't get your question. Can you please repeat?
Sir, see, you said in
Hmm.
the terms of performance testing that I should ask
Hmm.
the okay, what types of
Hmm.
performance analysis you are doing.
Hmm.
So at
Hmm.
the same time, if
Hmm.
as a software tester, if
Hmm.
the interview will ask some question, that okay,
Hmm.
if you have some question, then what should I ask?
Brijesh, you want to take this one?
I'm sorry, I was muted. I missed a part of the question, so if you could repeat the question again, maybe.
No, sir. The question is only that after finishing the interview, the last
Hmm.
question was for everything. Do you have? Do you want to have any question for me? Do you want to ask something? I want this answer, sir.
Okay. So can you give me a brief on what questions were asked to you?
Question in the terms of manual testing, in the terms of performance testing. If they are related to manual testing, they are simply asking, okay, what type of
No, no. If you go to an interview, if For example, I'm assuming you have gone to an interview, and if you've gone to an interview and people have asked you questions, so what sort of questions have they asked you, after which they finally ask you, okay, do you have any questions for us?
Oh, related to that, no, sir, because as I have the experience, so they are asking mainly to the project, what domain you are working, what project is, what was your role and the responsibility, and some related to the manual testing, what is bug life cycle, what are the test cases like that.
See, Nagesh pointed out something, and I said this in the previous discussion I had this on this forum, that it is important for you to understand that it is not an interrogation, it is an interview. Okay, it is an interaction that you're supposed to have, and so it is very much important that what you do or what you speak should resonate with the other person as well. So what you should do in situations like this is, you are trying to join that company, right? So you want to find out more about that company. The way of doing it is, normally, in a lot of interviews they ask, okay, where do you see yourself in 5 years? That is a question that is very useful for you also. You can ask, okay, what is the growth plan of this company? How can I contribute in the growth plan of this company? If you can explain something, then I will prepare accordingly. Okay, what is your vision of growth? How can I contribute to that? Let them see that you are interested in helping them grow. Let them see that you are interested in finding out about what is the path that they are taking for their progress. Okay, these are the questions that you can actually ask them. Okay, you can also ask them, so quite often interviewer will ask the candidate, what are your strengths and weaknesses? You can ask the same question back to the interviewer. What are the strengths of this organizations? Okay, and instead of asking what are the weaknesses, you can ask what are the areas where you think as an organization we can improve. Use the word we, because then that shows you that you are interested in being a part of that organization. So in what are the ways we can improve, and how can I contribute to the success of the company? Okay, ask these sort of questions. They make you look very mature. They make you look as if you understand and you want to be a part of their business. You want to solve their problem. It is not limiting yourself to just that interview, because in an organization, in a company, when we join, there is life outside of the project also, right? There are so many other things also going on around you. It is not that you just go to the office, work on that project for 8 hours, and then there you come out. It doesn't happen like that, right? You have interactions with HR, you have interactions with admin, you have interactions with everybody else on the floor, other project people. We do so many things, and if you give that kind of an answer, that will stick with the interviewer. Okay, and if that interviewer happens to be a really senior guy, then it increases your chances of being promoted, because they know that, okay, you ask this question, you are a smart guy, they will invest in you, they will invest in training you, they will invest in assuming you. Okay, so they have to find their line of leaders also. So you have to think so many things. It is
Not audible, sir.
Brijesh, we lost you.
Brijesh, we lost your voice.
We are not able to hear you.
So, Maddie, I will recommend you one more thing right now. Okay, you go to our YouTube channel, the Elite Tester YouTube channel. There is one more interview with Brijesh is already available, and there we did the interview. Brijesh was interviewing me that day. Okay, just go through that. Go through that discussion, and it will help you.
ज्यादा कुछ नहीं चल रहा
And on top of that,
नहीं है.
Shreya, please be on the mute.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I put
Nagesh, were you able to hear me previously?
No, we lost you in between. We lost you.
Okay.
Now we can hear
Basically,
you, we can see you. Go ahead.
okay, so basically what I was saying is show your interest outside of that interview also. Okay, show that you want to be involved in the growth of the organization. Okay, don't rely on websites like Guru99 and all those websites which give you interview question and answers. Always remember, no two interviews are the same. So those questions, people prepare for top 50 Selenium questions and answers. I saw some website top 100 tricky questions in Selenium. I mean, that is, if you ask me honestly, excuse my language, that is bullshit. Okay, it's fooling people. Okay, if you rely on those websites, you are fooling yourself. No interviewer will ask that. Nowadays, the interviews are very practical. They will ask you to test then and there. Okay, if they call you for a testing interview, they'll ask you, they will test this and show me. You still hear me, Nagesh?
Yeah, Brijesh.
Yes,
we are able.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So that's I wanted to make.
Meanwhile, I will just interrupt. Thank you, Brijesh, for making out this point that this kind of questions are literally this bullshit. I'll excuse myself as well for this language. Because like right now, I have started preparing up for this thing, and different websites gives this kind of questions, like top prepare for this and that. And I got interviewed by 2 companies, and it was nothing like that.
Brijesh, actually, you are speaking.
Brijesh is on mute.
Yeah.
No, he is
Brijesh,
not in
are you
a
mute.
He is not in a mute, but we are not audible.
Brijesh, we cannot hear you. Yeah. So just hold on, guys. Take a pause. I will just sort it out. Maybe network issue at Brijesh end. Okay. So Komal Tiwari. So what I understood from your point is that you prepare by using all these websites, but the interview experience was different. Right, Komal?
Yes, it was actually a practical one. Like they gave me some scenario based question, and they asked me like what you will do if you will be a tester or you'll be a lead, what you're supposed to do, what is going to
Good.
be a challenges. It was nothing like that, like theoretical questions.
Very good. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Komal, for bringing this point to this forum, because this is very important point, guys. What happens normally, we tend to go by reading these websites and all that. I like Brijesh mentioned. I will tell you one specific website. I will not name it, but they posting their software testing interview questions in the multiple groups, in the ISTQB groups as well. Believe me, they have 40 questions. Even if you read that 40 questions, I challenge you, even a mid-scale company will not hire you, because they have missed so many basic important software testing questions, very basic software testing questions. So don't go by those questions. Be practically, read it in the book. And Komal, once again, thanks a lot. So meanwhile, when Brijesh is coming back, Maddie, I want you to do 2 things now. First thing, go back to YouTube channel and again watch the interview of Brijesh, which we took some time back. And another thing is, going forward, you need to be interactive in the whichever group you part of. Like you are part of Elite Testers group, be interactive. If you have question, post it there. Don't hesitate that people will judge me. What kind of question is this? Always remember, your value will be determined by the question that you ask, not the answer that you give. So if you ask the right questions and you give more questions, do not hesitate, even if it is a simple question. Even if you ask simple question, what is test design technique? This is a very simple question. You will find it in all the software testing books. You go ahead, ask these kind of questions. And thanks, Maddie. We will come back to you. Let's move to some other participant who want to have any questions. Anyone who want to have a question?
Nagesh.
Hello.
Ray.
Just a minute, one by.
I have something to add here, Nagesh. Can you?
Sure. Go ahead, Brijesh.
I just disagree with something that you said. Rather, I want to add something. Okay.
Thank you.
Ask
Thank you.
questions because questions. I ask questions because questions are never stupid. Only answers are stupid. Nobody is expecting you to prove your smartness by your answers. Only your questions will prove you smart. Okay. Somebody many years ago asked a question, can we fly? And that question led to the discovery of aeroplane. Right? So if nobody had asked that question, you would not see such huge aluminum tubes flying in the air. Right? So you have to think like that. If you are not asking questions, you are doing injustice to yourself. If in an interview somebody says, I do not have any questions for you, I will not hire that person. Simply. I mean, they may be technically very good, brilliant tester, I will still not hire if they say they do not have any questions for me. I do that always. You know, once I was interviewing testing positions in my project, I interviewed 40 people and I selected only one person. So the HR was surprised what is wrong, because they screened the CVs and all that. So they sent one HR girl to sit with me and see the interviews that I was doing. And I was rejecting everybody who did not ask me a question. And she asked me, why are you doing that? They are technically so brilliant. They are answering all the testing questions. They are doing all the in front of you and showing that they are good testers. So why are you still not hiring? I said, because that person.
Brijesh, we lost you again.
We lost the voice again.
Okay, Brijesh, we'll move to next person. Meanwhile, you will come back. Shiva CH, can you go ahead and ask your question? Ramakrishna Iyer, you have any question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. In one of my interviews for Selenium automation testing, I was asked a question that among CSS selector and XPath, which is a faster mode of detecting element, which would be faster, as in.
Okay, what was your answer?
I was not sure exactly, because most of the places I've read that both are almost similar type of techniques. So I answered like it would be better to use something like ID or name as a selector rather than XPath or CSS.
So I'm not expert in Selenium, but I will tell my take on this one. They actually wanted to know that have you experimented on these things? They actually wanted to check, you know, that have you. So let's see. There is one specific element. Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, Nagesh.
Yes, Nagesh.
Okay, so they just wanted to check whether you have experimented with it. So let's see, there is one specific element which you can identify using XPath as well as CSS. Let's take a hypothetical example. Now you try to do the analysis, or you try to understand whether which one is good one, which is the correct one, or which one is fast one. They actually try to understand this thing. Okay. What you might have another better option by using ID or something, that is different part, but they just wanted to analyze whether you have. So what is the learning out of that question is you should experiment on your automation skills, then you will be able to answer these kind of questions. And there are few Selenium expert, I'm handing over it to them now. They will talk to you now. Nimesh.
Okay.
In this case also, I probably feel that sometimes I feel CSS is better, but yeah, it's all scenario based, is what my experience is. I haven't always that CSS is better or XPath is better. And ID and all these kind of locators, it's mostly based on the way website is built. Sometimes developers miss out on giving IDs for certain elements when you have to create XPath by yourself. as an absolute XPath. Relative XPath also you can build up, but then it all depends on the DOM structure actually, what you're looking out for. So when you're looking on more and more DOM structures and locating more elements, you kind of get a hang of how things can be done. And I probably feel there is no way a specific answer for
Okay.
anything. It's always scenario based.
Mm-hmm.
So we can ask them again that what
Okay.
kind of website it is, what is the structure, what is the element which you're trying to find. Is it going to be a static element, dynamic elements? How are the elements going to get loaded? All these kind of questions can help.
Okay. So, if you have a particular means, let's say the person who's taking the interview gives me the DOM structure as well, then how can we decide which one would be faster?
By writing out a code and testing it out. Test both of them. Provide a logger method and check which one got faster.
Okay.
Simple.
But
Yeah,
in
that's what
general,
I
in
say.
the interview, it's not possible.
True.
You cannot check for microseconds and all, milliseconds and all.
Mm-hmm.
At that particular
But
moment,
yes, it comes down to when you have a huge application and you have lot of automation scripts to run. Usually these kind of performance issues which we see, right, it comes into if I want to release there is a product for which build has been triggered. I have 150 automation tests to run, and if it is taking more than 2 hours or 3 hours to execute it, then there will be questions on refactoring and understanding the things. If you just have one test or two tests, it doesn't matter. When we want to release something quick, we want to have more than 10 to 12 builds in one particular day, and it is in such a faster scale. That is the time when you refactor it and you put a lot of thought into it. Mostly happens in DevOps. Yeah.
Nimesh, whatever your experience is, I completely agree with. Like in the discussion, what you are suggesting is correct. But in the interview, what is the answer? That's what the his question also, like my question also is the same. Like in the interview specifically, which is better, which we need to go for. In general, they are not specifically asking for this DOM structure or this element. Generally, they are asking like what should be the answer.
If I would have been in your position, and if they're specifically asking me to go for whichever I'm comfortable with, I will mention that and go ahead. If that doesn't work, we'll look out for something else. I mean, that would have been my point of view. It can vary.
Okay.
Well, the
Shiva, you want to
answer,
add something?
Hello, Savita here.
the right answer is
Yes, Savita, go ahead.
Yeah, so I would like to add on to the Nimish point that yeah, it's like it's all about your experience, which method you have used for that application. So it's totally depend upon what is a comfortable method for you or easiest way to identify those elements by using CSS, ID or the XPath. So again, you can just as a counter to the interviewer's question, you can just ask for the more detail. What website is that? How is the DOM structure? Can you give me the example of that element structure so I can just give you the more idea? Is it having some dynamic elements into it on the runtime, or any static label is available already there? So this type of question will help you to explain your answers. That would be helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Savita. Shiva, you want to add some points?
I guess even Brijesh is back. Yeah, Brijesh was suggesting some point.
Yeah, Shiva, you're on mute. Shiva actually
Uh,
in the chat he asked me he want to share some. Yeah, Shiva, go ahead.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now, Nagesh?
Yes, Brijesh,
Yeah.
I can hear.
Okay, Nagesh, what I was saying is, I think Savita answered the question in the best possible way. The answer to that question is, in fact, that you want to know the context to the question. So if you are put on the spot asking which method is better, you should always ask counter questions. That is one more thing that I was going to mention. In an interview, it is always important to understand the meta behind every question. Every question has a reason why they are asking. So if you do not understand the context, do not jump straight on the answer. My advice to you for answering interview questions is never respond to a question with an answer. Always respond to a question with a question. Okay. If you do not understand, say please elaborate. If you are unclear about the context, say please explain the context. If you face this question that was asked about which XPath is better, well then the question is, okay, like Savita explained, okay, can you please tell me what application are we testing, what website are we testing, what is the DOM structure? You extrapolate, and in a lot of situations the answer will be given to you by the interviewer themselves. Okay, this happens time and again, and in my experience 60% of the times the interviewers will diverge the answer that they're looking for. You have to be very smart in catching those hooks. So turn it into a discussion, ask questions. So if you get a question like that, if you are put on the spot asking which is better, ask them the context. Ask them, do you want to clarify? Why do you ask me which is better? Okay, what does your website look like? What is the DOM structure? What are you trying to find out? Do you think that is a challenge? Why do you think that is a challenge? If I do it with CSS, what are the challenges you are facing? If I do it with IDE, what are the challenges that you are facing? Ask questions like that. Then they will give you the information that you need to answer the question. Okay, it is never one-way traffic. Remember that.
Yes. I have one point to add here,
Sure.
Nagesh. I was recently studying one of the YouTube tutorials from James Back. So he gave a very simple question to the folks there. There was one input. There was a conditional loop wherein if input A is greater than 70, then one output is yes or no. Conditional operator. Simple. He asked how many test cases can you write. So people were saying 2 test case or 3 test case. And later on, he just started off with a discussion. It was mild, but later he explained that that particular actually scenario was a part of an aeroplane's design equipment, wherein there were 129 possibilities, which we never thought of because we did not ask questions that actually what is the scenario behind this simple conditional operator. So he was like, you cannot test anything if they give you directly. You have to understand the entire story behind it, then only you can test. Otherwise, you can't test.
Thanks a lot, Nimesh. Yeah, right. Thanks, Brijesh. Thanks.
Absolutely, Nimesh. This is a very valid point. I know which interview you are talking about. In fact, I just finished a course with James Buck and Michael Bolton, and we spoke about the need for asking questions so much, and it applies to everybody every time when you are in an interview. So not just in an interview, in practical everyday situations. And nowadays the interviews are getting more and more situational. The older methods of question and answers, I think those people who are still following it, I think they will soon change, because nowadays testing interviews don't happen like that. At least in my experience, I don't do it like that. I will always ask people to test and show me if they can test. If you talk to James, he will also tell you the same thing. If you talk to Michael Bolton, he will also tell you the same thing. People have to show that they are capable of testing. If you claim to be an automation tester, though I don't believe that there is something called automation tester, it's always if you claim to be one and if you are applying for that position, then you can really do some magic with automation. They will ask you questions like, okay, how can you use automation to generate test data? Please write a code piece to show me that how will you generate 1,000 data sets. Okay, they will ask you questions like that. That is the mode into which the interviews are switching now. So you have to be prepared in that fashion rather than preparing for a Q&A. That was something that I wanted to add, Nagesh. Please continue.
Thanks a lot, Brijesh, Nimesh, Savita, for all your inputs. Let's move to next question.
Sorry, Brijesh, I had a small question. Hello.
Yeah, Ramkrishna.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Yeah, Brijesh, like you said that most of the interviews are moving towards situational questions. Are there some websites or some tutorials, something like that, which prepare us for those type of interviews? Means the type of questions which we may get.
I just before that I just mentioned
Yeah,
that
I know. Yeah, I
you
know.
will not refer to any website. No, it
Yeah.
is all on your practical
Yeah, that's
experience.
true.
Okay, all on your
Yeah,
practical.
yeah.
So what you need to do is in your CV, if you are mentioning a project, if you are describing a project, and you say you have written code or you are an automation tester working with Selenium and things like that. Okay, you must know the situations in which you can be challenged around. What were the challenges? Explore. Okay, look at your own project. Explore the challenges.
Okay.
Try and find out the solution. Prepare on those lines because that will help you prepare. You should not look outside. Okay, if you want to look outside, look at. Okay, if you are asking me specifically about YouTube channels, okay, so there are two YouTube channels that I always recommend for people who are trying to learn Selenium or automation. One is from Naveen Automation Labs, and the other one is from Mukesh Otwani. Okay, these two are my favorite, and they talk about specific examples. Always they make videos out of that. So look at their examples, and it will be good if you can challenge those people as well. Okay, it's a good idea if you challenge Naveen, asking Naveen, why did you do it this way? Why did you just because that will help you prepare. Okay, so that would be my answer.
Vaishnavi,
So
please
both,
mute.
can you hear me?
Sachin, please be on mute.
Able to hear
Can
you,
you guys
Brijesh.
hear me?
Yeah, Brijesh, now you can unmute yourself. I have muted all of the members.
Okay, can you still hear me?
Yes, now loud and clear.
Yeah, so what I was saying is, if you want some practical learning, okay, if you are looking for YouTube channels and stuff like that, go to Naveen's channel, go to Mukesh's channel, see them do stuff practically when they're showing, and then maybe you can reach out to Naveen or Mukesh and ask them, why did you do it this way? Why not some other way? What was the context? Okay, if you're not clear about it, that will give you ideas. Okay, so don't just look at a video and try and practice it or something like that. Ask questions, challenge. Okay, challenge the other person. Challenge not meaning you take swords out and challenge. Challenge meaning, okay, put them in front of practical situations.
Right.
Ask them very practical questions. Okay, that way.
Yeah,
So
so just
that would be my suggestion.
yeah, just wanted to add one point to what Brijesh said. Yes, so I will also suggest you to go through the channels of Mukesh and Naveen. Mukesh is pretty approachable. I have contacted him via LinkedIn and Twitter in past. He responds and he try to understand our problem and he helps. So that's my personal feedback, personal experience interacting with Mukesh. So it's totally depend on you which trainer you want to pick up, and like just now Vijay said, try to be interactive with that trainer. Try to send him the question which will which will solve your problem. You will learn from this those all those things. So
Well,
the
both these guys, Nagesh, to
yeah,
add to your point, both these guys,
yeah.
Mukesh and Naveen, they are extremely approachable, and
Agree.
they both of they both are extremely approachable. It only lies on us if we want to seek their help because they
Right.
have expertise. They are doing this. They make videos to help people. So they would be glad to help you on practical
So
situations.
yeah. So as a question, tell me about your technical automation skills. How you explain this to interviewer? Anyone?
Come again, sir.
Okay. Sachin said that in chat. Sachin, you can unmute yourself and ask the question. Sachin said that tell me about your technical automation skills. How to explain this to interviewer if the interviewer asks this question.
It depends. It totally depends that what automation he is looking for and what projects the company is looking only for the what projects they are working and which domain he is working, the company. So first we have to understand that which company we are giving the interview. According to that, we have to plan.
Hello.
Yes,
Hi
Kishore,
everyone.
go ahead.
This is Kishore. Yeah.
Hmm.
Actually, I gave like around 4 interviews. What I
Hmm.
understood is it depends on the company, depends on the person. That answers will vary. But what I'm thinking, especially everybody's, if you are looking at automation perspective, we are not automation testers. It's at SDET. Now trend is changed SDET. So it's a software developer. So we should tell like Java. That is Java is or like any ops concept that programming we should prove. That's the main first check. So if you are Java 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, Selenium would be like it's a another level, next level or next layer where I mean they can not ask that much. I mean proficiently they will not look further. I mean that might be based on experience they can answer. Any person who work for one project, they cannot touch each and every area of in the Selenium or each and every area of frameworks. So whatever I understood and whatever I am looking into is the Java, all programming concepts and how we are approaching, how we are writing that problem solving, like I mean, different concepts we are utilizing in the Java. One question we can clearly answer, we can expect an interviewer, what are the Java concepts we are using in the automation? Give me example of each and every area. That's one a question, it kills everyone. Based on their experience, they will give the answer. Based on their knowledge, they will explain that level. So that is a very important point. We can show, we can prepare for that each and every whoops concept. One example clearly where we are exactly using in the automation framework and where when how we develop, how we contributed. So that one question answer. I mean, I hope that gives proper technical knowledge on the automation. Am I making sense?
Thanks, Kishore. Yeah, thanks.
Yes, Kishore.
Vaishnavi, you had a question.
Hi.
Go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. I'm a fresher, like have done course in SQL and manual testing. So I don't have any experience on projects. So I'm not getting calls for any requirement. So I'm facing this issue.
Okay,
So may I know how to improve it and get calls?
that's the important word you used, improve, and that's
Yeah.
what you should do. Okay.
Yeah.
So the first thing you have to study. You have to study a lot about software testing. You know,
Okay.
just don't go by someone else's definition of software testing. Read books of
Yeah.
software testing. Download ISTQB syllabus. Read it through. See, when you must have done your engineering. At your engineering,
No,
what you
no.
have done,
I'm BCA graduate.
that is fine. BCA, even that is Bachelor of Computer
Most
Application,
of the
right?
companies are like looking for engineer graduates also.
That era is changing. That era is changing. Okay, it's totally depend on how you portray yourself and how you are skilled in your art, craftsmanship.
Okay.
That is most important. So thing is, what buy a software testing book, a good software testing book, read it, understand it, ask the
Okay.
questions. If you don't understand, write it down, those questions. Ask these questions to people. Do not hesitate, do not shy. You are a fresher, you will little bit, shy. You will be little bit under the little bit fear. Do not hesitate to ask. Call anyone,
Yeah.
any your senior friend. You are part of the group. You can go and ask the question in the group, saying that I haven't understood this concept in software testing. Another
Yeah.
thing is go through the software testing videos. I will recommend you a few videos. I will share it in the group. Okay, we have a friend
Okay.
called we have a friend from UK called Adebayo, right? Brijesh, if I'm pronouncing right. He has a
Yes.
video on on software testing, I will recommend you go through his software testing video, which is very basic,
Yeah.
very simple.
Okay, sure.
Important thing is you should know software testing, how to test the application.
Yeah.
Okay. Now
Okay.
moving on to other part, you did SQL. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you practice it. You have learned it, you practice it.
Yeah.
Practice in terms
Yeah.
of you can, yeah. So remembering the definitions and all these things is one part. But now
Yeah.
if I ask you what is inner join, for example, you may be
Yeah.
you might have given me 100% definition of inner join, but
Yeah.
why we are using inner join, what is the benefit of using inner join, why, how it will be different from left join or outer join, you should able
Okay.
to understand it. I may not, as a fresher, you ask you this question, may not, interviewer may not ask you, they might ask you, but they may not ask you. But if you were able to explain when they ask you question, what is inner join, and if you explain in such a way that you have understood the inner join and how inner join is different from other joins, they will immediately trust you, they will immediately find you that you are trying, you have done your homework properly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So in
Okay.
short, do not stop studying, keep studying,
Mm.
learn to
Yeah.
understand, don't just learn to, don't memorize, don't,
Yeah.
muck up the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
All the best,
Uh,
Okay.
Vaishnavi. At any point of
Thank
time,
you.
I
I
will
want
hand
to
it
Yeah.
over to. Yeah, sure, Bridget. Just want to
Yeah.
conclude, and I will be on the mute again.
yeah
Be confident. Any point of time, if you need help, just come up. Bridget, over to you. Thank you.
Vaishali, so as a part of your BCA degree course, did you do a project?
Yeah. I done a
What
project. Yeah,
what
actually it was on machine learning. We were a group
okay,
of 3.
okay,
Like there was a mentor and we 3 done almost they only done the projects.
okay,
So we got the knowledge how it works, how we should write. It
okay.
was like machine. Yeah.
So why do you say you do not have experience?
Yeah,
It's not
like
true, right?
I not much worked on it. I
No,
not
I
much.
understand.
I want. Yeah.
I understand. I understand. Vaishali, first of all, is first step is to remove the fear and start believing that you do not have experience. Okay, if you have done a project in your academic career, that counts as
Yeah.
experience. Okay, so if
Okay.
somebody says no, you are a fresher, you do not have experience, simply say no, I do have experience because I have worked on a project, although it was in my academic career. Yes, if
Yeah.
you're talking about professional experience as a paid job, I may not have had a paid job, but I definitely do have experience. A paid job and experience are two different things. So if you are talking to a recruiter, you must talk firmly. Number one. Number two,
Okay.
okay, and I would disagree here with Nagesh. Do not refer the ISTQB book. Instead, if you want to read something about software testing, start reading Lessons Learned in Software Testing. That is a book that you must read. It is written by James Bach. It is written by Kem Kainer and Brett Petticoat. Okay, I will in the chat I will put the name of the book again. It is
Yeah.
called
Yeah.
Lessons in Software Testing. Okay, the PDF version is also, I mean, the online Kindle version is also available on Amazon. Otherwise, you can get the full big copy, hard copy if you like to read that. Okay, read that book. That will help
Okay.
you understand concepts and thoughts about testing. It will clear a lot of your concepts. Okay,
Yeah.
ISTQB. Why I am saying no is because ISTQB book will teach you process, but it will not give you practical answers. And what you need right now in order for you to get interview is practical answers. Okay, practical answers are very important, and that is something that you will get from that book. Okay, there are many other books that you can actually read, but start with this one. Okay.
Like a YouTube source, any good YouTube source.
Okay, for YouTube source, Nagesh has already pointed you out to a video from my friend Adebayo. I'll again put that link. It's in a channel called Niger Test Crowd. It's called Testing Fundamentals. I will point you to that video. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I will put it in the chat in a short while. So number one,
Yeah.
okay, do not think that you do not have experience. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Done.
eliminate that fear. Number two, start reading. Number three, yeah, start practicing like Nagesh said. If you have learned SQL, keep on practicing every day. Every single
Yeah.
day, dedicate. You don't have to do it for like a long time, but 15-20 minutes is enough. Okay,
Yeah.
keep practicing, keep challenging yourself to write more and more complex SQL queries and see if that works out and things like that. Okay, so
Yeah.
it is not difficult at all, and you'll find something soon. Okay, don't worry. All the
Okay.
best.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hello. Hello.
Komal, go
Yeah,
ahead.
we can hear you, Komal.
So hi, like the Vaishnavi have a problem like that. I have a similar problem as well. Like I have completed my master's in 2017, and back and then I worked as a content writer. And in my content writing career, I did a project like I helped my team to automate a process. So now I shifted my, like I thought like I don't want to continue that because I gain interest into the software testing. So from around March I have been taking a training from an institute, and the problem right now which I am facing, I do have 2 to 3 projects in my CV, but like from past 4 months I can assure like I have applied over a 500 job application, but I received only 2 calls. And for sure like I didn't have that experience and exposure to this kind of interviews, so it didn't ended up well. But it's nothing responsive from the HR point of view or something like that. I don't know how does it works, and I am trying to improve my CV as well as my skills, but still it's nothing going into the positive direction. So I need help in that terms.
Nagesh, can I answer this question?
Hello, sir. Can I continue some more
Yes,
question on this topic?
go ahead. Maddie, just let's take this one and then we'll go. Go ahead.
Sir, I will continue on this question only. My question is same only.
What's your question, Maddie?
Same whatever the Komal just said. So one of my junior, he completed the manual testing. So now he's and the both SQL. So now, but he's applying for the as a fresher. He's completed 1 year. So, but he's getting some problem that which because everywhere they require not manual, some automation tester. So he's confused that what should I go for? Some performance testing, some Java, some Selenium, and how till where he should learn. That's all. That's all. Thank you.
Manual
Maddie,
is wrong word. Manual is wrong word.
you could see me smile. Okay, manual. There is nothing called manual testing. Okay, manual testing does not exist. So stop using that term, manual testing. Okay, I will answer your question, Komal, and I hope to answer your question also, Maddie. First of all, applying for 500 jobs, not a good idea. Okay, apply to the jobs that you feel suit your skill set, not to any random job. Komal, to answer your question, can I have you unmuted as well so that I can have a discussion?
Yeah.
Okay, Komal. So how many resumes do you
Hello.
have? How many resumes do you have?
So like I got this tip from one of my senior, like whenever you apply for a job, go through their JD and like prepare something relevant to them. So I do this every time. I don't have a specific CV that I apply to, like generic one and apply with that to every job.
So which means that you have 500 CVs. Is that true?
No, but at least minimum I have 10 of them.
Yeah. So the point that I'm trying to make is whoever gave you that advice is absolutely right. Okay, you must always tailor your CV based on your skill set and based on the job description. Okay, always your skill set is the number one thing to look at, and then tweak it based on the job description. If the job description demands something more of a particular skill, then highlight that skill. Okay. So and do not apply randomly. I mean, I know people who are looking for jobs. I have somebody, you said 500, somebody the other day told me they've applied for 2,000 jobs. Okay, it's crazy. They, whatever job they hit apply. Okay, it doesn't work that way. You will not get calls. It certainly does not work that way. It will never work. Okay, you said out of 500
Okay.
you got 2 calls. Yes, the hit ratio will be like that. Now imagine if you had applied for just 10 jobs and you would have got 2 calls, you would have still had a success rate of 20%, right? Now if you do 2
Yes.
divided by 100, what is the percentage ratio you get? So think
Like
in that think that way, and make sure that you are applying for the right job. Okay, when it comes to your skills, okay, highlight whatever projects you did. Now I started my career as a content writer as well, by the way. Okay, and I have been testing for 20 years now. So it is not impossible, because I have gone through that transition. It is sometimes difficult, yes, but it is not impossible. Okay, now that you are interested in software testing, focus on that area. Keep practicing. Be more
Okay.
rational about the way you are applying for jobs. Be selective. Fine-tune
Okay.
your CV to what they need. Highlight the skill that they need more. Okay, for any
Okay.
recruiter.
So highlight. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Highlighting these skills, like does like actually it means highlighting it or something like that? Because I do properly mentioned all of them. Like I have already mentioned the project which I contributed in my previous organization and the project which I did personally.
So there is something known as automatic screening. Okay, that happens nowadays. So it is
Okay.
machine filtering your CVs. Generally, recruiters don't look at that. They will. I think it's called ATS compliance or something like that. That is the standard
So
adopted.
I know this about like they specifically collect the words or the skills like and they like range you with that thing if it is mentioned in my CV.
Those called as a keywords actually. Yeah.
No, I will
Okay.
tell you something. Okay, there is something known as
Okay.
ATS compliance. I know of a
ATS.
person who is an ATS compliance expert. I will share with you, if you can get in touch with me. I will share with you the contact
Sure.
details of the person. That I think
Okay.
she's working in London, I think right now. But she can give you some ideas. She's written blogs and posts and articles about ATS compliance and how you can improve your CV and all of that. Okay, now, that is very important,
Okay.
because these days what happens is, once you submit your CV, especially in a country like India, when every job position has like thousands of CVs coming in, it is impossible for the recruiters to go through 1,000 CVs. So they put it through that system. That system will screen for certain keywords. Okay, and those keywords need to be used very judiciously. Now, more often than not,
Okay.
people put those keywords in their tools or something like that. But if you can tweak your CV in a manner that it shows up in your project experience, then it adds value. Okay. Also, when
Okay.
you describe your projects, then use something called as a STAR method. Okay.
Star method.
STAR method. STAR is situation. That is the situation in the project that was in front of you, the challenge that you had, then the task that was given to you, the action that you took, and the result that you got. So once you mention these 4 points in your CV, in the project description, then it makes your CV a better CV. I will still not use the word perfect, because there's nothing called, there's no perfect CV in this world. Okay, even if you look at the CV of Mark Zuckerberg, it is not a perfect CV. Okay, he's got a two paragraph CV, I think. Okay, it's not, people will think that that's a great CV, but it is not. So in your CV, you have to highlight for every project that you have done, the situation, the task, the action that you took, and the result that you got. Okay, situation meaning what was the challenge in the project? What was the problem that you were trying to solve? Task is what was the
Okay.
assignment that was given to you. Okay, action was what did you do in response to that assignment? Okay, and result is what was the
Okay.
final outcome. Always remember that people look for an achiever's CV more than a doer's CV. If you are a doer, then your chances will be less.
Okay. So
You're an
like
achiever.
one more question to this, like it cleared my mind, like how am I supposed to use this? Is it something like this transition period? Is this showing me as a biased person, like because I had my degree in masters in IT and then I moved into content and then again I'm trying to move into softwares?
Well, every single person on this planet is biased. Okay, so so every single person is biased. Okay, so yeah, bias is a part of our social culture. It can be a separate topic of discussion altogether. And I've got like 10 hours of content worth to speak. So if I start now, I can go on till midnight probably. But then that's not a good idea. That's not a good idea. The point here is, yes, they will, somehow feel why you have done so much transition. But in your CV, if you can highlight these specific details in terms of the experience or the value addition that you're going to bring in through your skill set, then that will be the thing that will make a difference. And this also applies to Vaishali, who's a fresher, who's starting up fresh. The skill set that you've got acquired, you have got right now. How does it add value to the organization?
Okay. And one last question. Uh, is this like this all pandemic thing is actually affecting the job openings or something like that, or it's just that I am something not improved that well that it suits to the company or they want something
No,
like that?
the market is bad. Okay, let's be very honest.
Okay.
Companies have suffered losses. There are businesses which have lost billions of dollars. Okay, there are many small businesses which has gone out, have gone absolutely bankrupt. People have lost their jobs. If you see LinkedIn, every day I see at least 10 posts saying I have lost my job due to COVID.
Yeah.
It's a very real situation. It's not like something that is thin in the air. No, it's not like that. Okay, it is a very practical situation. The job market is a little slower than what it should be. Okay, so yeah. I mean,
That means this period can be like everyone will understand in future, like because for the 4 months I was going havoc and getting like a trauma, like why am I not getting job? But now I started reading all this post on the LinkedIn, then I thought like this is might not be a perfect time. I'll meanwhile improve my skills and also I'll apply for the jobs. So I'm
that is
waiting. I'm sorry.
That is most important. Improving your skills. That is most important.
So
But
in future
Brijesh,
it is.
Nimish,
are you expecting like by like in next 6 months or so the market will be stable?
Not before September 2021.
September 2021.
I'm talking about 1 year at least.
God.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, it doesn't mean that people will not get jobs. People will get jobs. But if you are looking at market stability, look for at least a year. Okay, because things are still very bad. The situation in India is bad. The situation in the US is bad. Okay, so people are still suffering. And unless this suffering goes down, businesses to come back to normal will be difficult. Okay, we have to be very practical. People are talking so many things about vaccine, blah blah blah. I'm not expecting a vaccine before 2 to 3 years, to be very honest. Okay, my brother is a research scientist. He's working on in a collaboration project on a vaccine, and it is his practical estimate because you have to do human testing. Okay, and that takes a lot of time. People are saying, "Oh, vaccine will come now and in 3 months' time." No, let's be very practical about the situation. So, to be very honest, at least a year. Okay, for
Yeah,
business.
even Yeah, adding to Brijesh on this point, even I am from the life sciences industry, so
Yeah.
he is absolutely correct in this because I'll tell you that I know while working in industry from past 7 years. So drug life cycle is a term which is there, and even a normal
Yes.
drug life cycle which contains the marketization of the drug also in the world, that took almost 5 to 10 years normally for a small molecule or a compound to be developed for. So yeah, it is not very easy to develop it within a span of 2 3 months. It normally takes 2 to 3 years. Yeah, exactly.
Thank
According
you,
to my
Bridget.
brother, the estimate is you don't
So I
expect a
would like
vaccine.
to add up the point. Uh,
Yeah, Minal.
yeah, so even I am searching job from rigorously from last 3 to 4 months. So I agree, like companies go for the skill sets and all, but I feel in a country like India, we also go for notice period and how much is the expected salary. So if my notice period is like 60 days or something and an immediate joiner is available, I won't be shortlisted. Also, if someone is getting in X lakhs and there's someone who's ready to work in X by 2 or like 30% less than X lakhs, so you won't be hired. We have population too much, there's competition and all. So that's another main factor. That's why people ask for notice periods and expected salaries.
Well, the thing with expected salary, I call it professional pandemic. Okay, because that is no way going to help you. An expected salary of a person, it can be anything. If somebody asks me what is my expected salary, I always say 1 crore. Always. That is my standard answer. But can you give me 1 crore? No. Let's be very practical. You tell me what is your budget, and then we start negotiating. So that should be the response when somebody talks to you about expected salary. Because what happens generally is if you go to an interview with HR and they start talking, in the name of negotiation, what they do is bargaining. There is a difference between negotiation and bargaining. Let's understand that. They ask us, is your salary expected salary negotiable? You say yes. But then when you say, okay, I want 20 lakhs. Okay, suppose your current salary is 10 lakhs and you're seeking 100% growth. You're asking for 20 lakhs. They say, no, will you be okay with 12 lakhs? Then you come and somewhere in midway 15, 17 lakhs, you will agree. That's bargaining, right? That's not negotiation. So you ask them, what is your budget? Will you be able to pay a salary of 20 lakhs? If not, then let's talk what is the salary that you can pay. Then let's talk about it. Let me see if I can fit it in my scheme of things. Let it work mutually. And this is something a lot of people don't do in India. Okay, we always go for expected salary and things like that. And there is another problem. I have written so many times about it. I call it as offer shopping. People go for one offer. They read through websites. They mug up questions. They think they're experts in clearing interviews. They go for one offer. They take the second offer. Then they take the third offer. They take the fourth offer. What are they doing is by doing so, they're blocking opportunities for 4 other people. If you do not want to take a job, please do not take the offer. If you're not serious about it, just for the sake of money, just don't do it. I call this phenomena offer shopping, and I think it is a serious problem in the Indian industry. I have spoken about it. I am very vocal about it, and I challenge all those people who do like this. When they come to me for interview, I ask them how many offers do you have. If somebody says I have got 2 offers, I immediately reject that person because he is wasting my time. He will take an offer from me and then he will use my offer to negotiate for another offer. I cannot trust that person. And how can I work with a person whom I cannot trust? It's very simple. We all have to understand this. So, I mean, when you go for interviews, when you, are taking interviews, then you sit with the HR and ask, okay, what is our budget? Let's make it reasonable for the candidates who are applying with us. Because the change begins with us, right? When we start hiring, we have to bring in these good practices. There are no best practices, by the way. There are only good practices. So we have to bring in these good practices.
Yeah. Yeah, completely agree with you, Brijesh. That's a good point to mention. Even I would mention this to elevate this point is, uh, yeah, that word bargaining and negotiation. The one thing is we also realize is we should not be undervalued ourselves. When the like in India, when the HR is trying to do the bargaining, please try to prevent yourself and don't keep you undervalued and just say, okay, yes, I'm ready to take this offer, though you do not have the job. I understand that that particular context, yes, some persons need a job immediately and all those things, but yeah, undervalues is not an option, which I would think.
Hey, Brijesh, it's Savita here. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, Savita, we can hear you.
Yeah, so Brijesh, I totally agree with your point with respect to the having the multiple offers. But there is a experience I have to share over here. Like, coincidentally, me and my friend from the same company interviewed in another company for the same job opportunity. The difference was only that my friend has another offer in hand and he was trying for the second one. And for me, it's like I didn't have any offer. So in our interview, the interviewer asked us, "Do you have any offer in hand?" So I said, "No, I don't have any offer in hand." So he asked, "Are you trying anywhere for another interviews or any other opportunity?" So I said, "Yeah, I'm trying from and it's like one or two interviews are in line up, so I'm just waiting for their call." So that's what I said. And the same similar question they asked to my friend, that do you have any offer in hand? So he said, yeah, I already have an offer in my hand. So they said, okay. And that for that interview, my another friend got their offer just because he already have offer in hand. So it make a assumption like if he already had cracked the interview or he already had something in hand, so he's better than me and he can directly join, or maybe the assumptions comes in different way for that also. So it's also for the interviewer, they take it in other way. So I
Well,
don't know means what's how to
well,
tackle
Savita,
such situations.
Savita,
Yeah.
that is the reason why I use the word professional pandemic. Okay,
Yeah.
that is the reason why I use, because the thinking
Mhm.
of businesses, the thinking of hiring managers, the thinking of recruitment just freezes when it comes to situations like this. I mean, in fact, it should be absolutely opposite. Okay, your friend, he got the second offer. Now, how do you trust? How do you trust a guy who has taken one offer and then taken the second offer to not go for a third offer? Can you trust? You cannot.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So you cannot trust. How can you work with that person? Finish. No arguments. No further arguments. Okay. I will not give any further arguments on this subject. It is for me hard to believe that okay, because because he has got an offer, he's an expert in a particular subject. No, I have seen people in my practical experience of 2 decades. I've seen people who were very good in interviews but sucked at work. They were the worst performers while working, because preparing for an interview and practically demonstrating your skill, your experience, your knowledge while working are two different things. They are
Yeah.
absolutely different. One cannot rely on an interview performance for somebody to be a star performer in a project. I will tell you something. Okay, once I did an interview and there was this fresher. There was this girl who came and she sat and she told me very frankly that I am a fresher and the only thing that I'm willing to do is I'm willing to learn. Okay, I'm willing to learn and I will not just learn, I'll make sure that I make a difference to the organization. I make a difference to the team. That is the attitude, and that did the interview for me. I did not ask her any further questions, and within 6 months she won the company star award because she proved her mettle. That is the kind of attitude that you want to have when you go for interviews. If you do not have a skill, say these things. Okay, if you think you are a fresher, you're going for an interview. Vaishali mentioned, right? She's struggling as a fresher. If you get an interview, say these kind of things. That yes, I may be a fresher. I may lack in terms of experience. I have one project that I've worked on in my academics. However, if you bring me in, I will show you the value, the difference that I can make to your organization. I will take your organization, the team, to the next level because I have that spirit in me. These kind of strong statements will make a difference. I break a person's career journey into 3 parts. First part is self-confidence. So you must have that. The second part is self-awareness. You must be aware of things that you know. You must be aware of things that you don't know. And if you don't know something, acknowledge that you don't know that and you are willing to learn, because that brings your attitude on the positive side. And final step is self-discovery. You discover what you want in life. Okay, it is these 3 stages that are very important. And at any point of time, ask where you are in your career, at what stage are you in your career. If you're a fresher, you need lots and lots and lots of self-confidence. If you are in the mid-level, 5 to 10 years or 5 to 15 years, I would say, then you put yourself in the self-awareness category. Are you aware of the skills that you know? Are you aware of the skills that you don't know? Are you ready to accept that you don't know a lot of things? It is okay.
Yeah.
Well, it is okay. People will form opinions. Let them form opinions. Who cares? Okay. And then finally, once you're out of that stage, in your final stage, above 15 years experience, if you have, then it's the time to discover yourself. What is it that you want out of your career? Do you want to open your own company? Do you want to teach other people good things? Do you want to, spread the light of your knowledge? What do you want to do? So go through these things. I mean, they might sound a little philosophical, but they're very practical. They always give you what you want in terms of your career choices. So I guess I got a little
No worries.
No. Actually, what you said is totally right. Means the correct thing. But nowadays it's like when it comes to the interview having their own things in the mind, and they want candidates should give you that exact only. If they are not
So,
giving the exact thing, yeah.
so
So for example, yeah.
So Savita,
Yeah.
Savita, the best way is what I explained earlier. You have to extract that information from the mind of the interviewer as to what they want. So you have to ask a lot of questions. You have to say, okay, if like the example that was given was, okay, which is the best method for determining the expat? Okay, you ask what is the reason behind that question. You ask what is in the mind. Okay, you ask, please explain the context. Please tell me what you're looking for. Please tell me what you what kind of project it is. What kind of DOM structure does it have? Ask these kind of questions, and you will get to a point where you know exactly what the person wants, and you give that answer. Okay, it does not come to you naturally. If you are not a mind reader, you will have to ask questions. If you're a mind reader and if you can interpret sitting in front of a person, if you know what he's thinking, then you're genius. and I
Yeah,
do not.
right. But means it's not what you are saying is definitely right. But as per my experience in the recent interviews now, sometimes if we ask the questions like as they said counter questions, why this, why you are expecting something like that, the interviewers actually get offended sometimes, and it's very
No,
difficult. Yeah.
so Savita, asking questions.
Uh,
There is an art to ask questions. Asking questions is also an art. Okay, how
yeah.
do you frame questions? Okay, instead of asking why, James Bach always says this, and he learned it from Jerry Weinberg. He said that in many of his interviews. He said that in many of the even in the class that he took recently. He said this. Instead of asking why do you do it this way, you say, okay, I would like to learn why the way you do it. Okay, put it like that. Okay, could you please
Yeah.
tell
Yeah.
me? Could you please teach me? Okay, instead of asking the question why, you say, please help me understand. Okay, use terms like that. So it mellows down your question. Don't use words like but in the interview. If the person says something and he says yes but, then you're immediately challenging that person. Don't use but. Instead of say, okay, I understand what you're saying. However, You use words like that. I mean, that will mellow the conversation down. It is very
Yeah.
important how you choose your words, you choose your tone in an interview. If you straight away go out and challenge, and you, it's okay. Okay, let's be very practical. Okay, in many interviews, it has happened that for a test lead position, the interview is taken by a test engineer or a senior test engineer. So obviously, you will, as an interviewee, as a candidate, you will think, oh, I am a test lead, and this guy, he's a senior test engineer, he's taking my interview. How can he do that? It becomes an ego issue then. No, it's not like that. Who knows? He may be smarter than you, right? You don't know, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
other person may be smarter than us. How do we know? Until we have met them.
Yes. Right.
Very recently, I was in a discussion where one of my friends, he went for an interview of a senior test architect, and the interview was taken by a test engineer, the junior most guy in the team, because that junior most guy was the smartest in the team. Only because he had started his career 6 months ago, he was a test engineer. Otherwise, they would have given him or made him a, a senior architect or something like that. He interviewed a senior architect and decided whether that senior architect would be fitting in the team or not. And this is a very practical thing, and it happens these days. So let's not make assumptions. Let's be very clear.
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
And ask our questions in a diplomatic.
Thanks, Brijesh. Thanks, Savita. So we already crossed the 1 hour mark. We're almost 1.5 hours now. So sorry, guys. I cannot extend it further.
Nagesh, this is what happens when you have me in the call.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you on the call. And it's always, we have a very healthy discussion always. And it's very, it's a big learning curve every time when you are there on the call. So may I request all of you to just turn on your cameras so I can just quickly take a snapshot. And thanks all of you for joining. Hope this was informative. You have learned something. Thanks, Brijesh, for valuable time. So those who are not aware, guys, Brijesh has joined from Netherlands, so he's not in India. So imagine, so he valued this meetup so much, and he helped us such a way that he takes out his busy schedule time from his busy schedule and join us. So I request all of you to say thanks. Say thanks to Brijesh. I will take a quickly. I'll take
on Sunday. I have to wake up early on Sunday.
Exactly. And it's a Sunday. So imagine on busy, on the Sunday where everybody is trying to relax, he is woke up and already fully charged and helping us to learn new things. Thanks a lot. I'll quickly take a screenshot, and I'm going to make a post on LinkedIn with these screenshots. So hope all of you are okay with that. And just a minute, I'll take one more.
Yeah, we can do some thumbs up. Yeah.
I believe like Brijesh and Nagesh, they help us to change the mentality and the psychology of how we take up the things and the way we approach towards testing and our jobs. That has changed my mindset as well. I used to think in one direction, but now it is a very big pool which I want to think about and go forward. So that is really helpful. Thank you so much to all the mentors who help us.
Thank you, Nimesh. So, and guys, feel free to join the group. Feel free to ask the questions. If you are seriously looking for job, post your request that I am looking for this kind of job. We did a CV, builder session where we build the CV. We help people to do the necessary changes in the CV. We do that things, and this is all for you guys. So and it gives us opportunity to meet wonderful people like Sahil. Sahil has developed his own apps. I cannot, imagine that with that level of experience, he has developed his own app. And I came to know when we try to build his CV. So imagine a guy who has already built 2 apps and we are building his CV. Means it's kind of like, we are doing a better job. We are doing, we are improving ourselves instead of writing his CV. So I thought like, wow, this guy is so nice and is here now. So that's kind of a feeling we have. So please communicate, please contribute to the community. If you want to have any session, if you can conduct any session, please come ahead. Say that I want to teach this thing on this forum. We will give you platform. And thanks a lot for spending so much time with us today. See you on next Sunday. enjoy your Sunday. Thanks, Brijesh, once again. Thanks, Komal, for wonderful questions.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maddie.
Thank you so much, Nagesh.
You can connect with
Thanks,
me on
Brijesh.
Thanks everyone.
Yes,
Bye.
thank you. And connect with Brijesh and
Thanks,
me on
sir.
LinkedIn if you are not already connected. Thanks a lot. I will
Sure.
stop the
Thank you
recording.
so much. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank
Nagesh.
you. Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you, Nagesh.